Really excited this year to launch our Watershed Workshop program. And this is a program that was modeled in some ways from the Lake George Association's successful floating classroom program. Our Watershed Workshops are a really important part of the Adirondack Watershed Institute's message and method of trying to protect entire watersheds, because for the first time we are reaching out directly to school groups, community groups, and communities in and around the park. We can now bring our floating laboratory on our new boat to any community that's interested and do hands-on educational experiences for people of all ages. And these experiences are designed to get people contacting the water beneath its surface, because most of us just swim or paddle along the surface. Our Watershed Workshops help people understand what's going on inside and underneath the water surface. So our very first Watershed Workshop this year was at the Lake Pleasant School in Speculator, New York, and we were so happy to work with their middle school. On this program we had three groups of students coming on our boat, and they were engaged in various activities to look at water quality. We checked for water clarity using the Secchi disc. Participants learn about the clarity of the water. This is an indication of the water's state and health. So our students lowered the Secchi disc into the water and determined how deep they could go before they lost sight of it. So if you do this on a regular basis, you can see if the water gets cloudier or more clear from year to year. Another thing that the students did was test for phytoplankton and zooplankton. We have a zooplankton net that is towed behind the boat. Students lowered it down into the water to the depth of 30 feet, let it sit, and then hauled it back up and looked at what we could find. In fact, we found lots of things, including Daphnia in larval phases, and then we're looking for other things. In this case, we did find some spiny water fleas. So we're excited to find life and also to contribute to the knowledge in the park of where invasive species may or may not be. Watershed Workshop was also complemented by components that are on the shoreline. We had a couple stations set up where the Lake Pleasant School students interacted with our watershed stewards. We had a watershed model set up so the Lake Pleasant students could understand the effects of development and precipitation events on the upland and how that affects the water quality. So another station in our Watershed Workshop, this one's on the land, is where participants learn how to be a boat steward themselves. So our boat stewards are positioned all over the Adirondack Park, getting people to check their watercraft for invasive species. We had Lake Pleasant School students learn how to inspect watercraft, looking inside the boats, looking at the propellers, looking inside live wells and bilge areas, and taking off whatever they found. We also had them look at the various aquatic plants that they can find either in the waterway or on boats, and find out whether or not they're invasive species, because we have many species of native milfoils and native water weeds and pond weeds, but then we also have invasive pond weeds and invasive milfoils. So we took the first step to help our students identify which ones are native and which ones are invasive. The Adirondack Watershed Institute offers the Watershed Workshops to the community members around the Adirondack region. It's important to note that we are funded by the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Environmental Protection Administration. And these two sources helped us purchase the watercraft and provided support for staff time to go out into communities and educate people about aquatic invasive species and the role they're playing in our aquatic ecosystems and also in our communities. One of the things that we're so excited about with the Watershed Workshops is that it's another great opportunity to help instill and develop the ethic of stewardship with anybody who takes these workshops, especially young people, because we understand that these waterways are very important to us. They're part of our personal families and our heritage, and we're trying to ensure that the next generation of residents and visitors to the park are good stewards and understand that what they do affects the quality of these experiences for them and their own children.